Welcome to the journey of CyberLogic, Episode 22, Dynamis-Beaucedine. Now to enter Dynamis-Beaucedine, you need to have beaten all 4 of the Dynamis City maps that I showed how to do in our last episode. You then want to head to this spot on the glacier map to find the entry point to Dynamis-Beaucedine. Now you have the same 60-minute timer that you started with in all of the city zones, and just like with those zones, you can extend that another 60 minutes by defeating 5 time extension mobs. As with before though, that's not something we're going to be working on our first trip. In this episode, we have several other goals to accomplish inside of Dynamis-Beaucedine. Now the first is to get our relic armor to drop for Ninja, which is the Koga Chainmail. Now this can drop from any of the mobs in the zone, so we can easily work on this goal while we work on our other objectives while in this zone. The next goal is we want to seek out and defeat NMs in the groups of Beastman mobs that exist in this zone until one of them drops the Bijou spawn item for the final boss of this zone. Now, these groups of Beastman mobs spawn in the locations that I'm currently showing on your map. Do not underestimate this task, as the groups of Beastman mobs are much more grouped up here in this zone than some of the other city zones that we were already in, especially in the Goblin area. So make sure that you are ready for a lot of ads when you start to kill one of these Beastman NMs. Now our next goal here is to also work on getting our Villain's Fortune Parchment, so that we can spawn Mildenox, who has a 30% chance of dropping the upgrade item we need for our Relic Katana. Now the Villain's Fortune item drops very rarely off the Hydra Thief, Hydra Monk, and Hydra Ninjas that spawn all over this zone. Now the 4 areas I farm them are shown here on the map. Note that if you're working on a relic weapon other than Relic Katana, you will want to look up the upgrade items required for it, as each weapon is different. You will then of course want to look up where it is you can kill mobs of that type in this zone. When farming Hydras in this zone, you want to keep in mind that the Hydras that are at the higher elevations or on the western side of the zone are much higher in level, usually around level 96 to 99, compared to the Hydras that are usually around level 80 that are on the eastern side of the zone, or the lower levels, so keep this in mind if you're farming them. Now when you have acquired your Villain's Fortune pop item, you want to head to this spot on the map shown here, and trade it to the spot within the tower. This will spawn Mildenox, and you will have 15 minutes to defeat him. Now he will use an SP ability every 60 seconds or so, in the order of 100 Fist, then Perfect Dodge, and then Mijin Galcree. He will then start the cycle of 3 all over again after 60 seconds are complete. Now 100 Fist can be quite dangerous, as he does substantial damage per hit even to tanks at this level. Now your mages can normally cure your tank through the first usage of 100 Fist, but by the second you want to be finishing off this NM, as your mages will more than likely be low or out of magic points entirely by that point. Now another reason you want to speed this fight along is if the NM has too many hit points, when he uses Mijin Galcree, it has a chance to one-shot members of your party. Now hopefully it's only going to take a kill or 2 to get the item that you need, but in my case, I had a very run of bad luck, and it took me a total of 13 kills of this NM to get the needed attestation of legality. Now, also make sure that you keep an eye on your Dynamis timer, so that you aren't caught fighting him when your time expires and losing your pop item altogether. Now as you're accomplishing your different goals throughout the zone, you may notice that the Hydras and even the Beastman mobs are taking us quite a bit longer to kill on this map than they have in previous zones. This is mainly due to our lower level at this point, and it's a signaling call to us that we need to start upping our level again if we're going to be able to continue to do this content solo. Now we first noticed our limitation of not being able to deal with the magic damage of Corinne at 80 a few episodes ago, and we now reach another limit here in Dynamis-Beaucedine when we try and take on the final boss of Angra Mainyu. Now Angra is an evil eye that can be spawned by trading the Leering Bijou that we farmed earlier to the markings near the entrance to Fei Yin shown here on your map. Now once traded, a total of 5 mobs will spawn. Angra, the main boss, as well as 4 shadow dragons, named Fire Pukus, Wind Pukus, Poison Pukus, and Petro Pukus. Now each of these is going to favor the shadow dragon ability that shares their name, but is also capable of using abilities such as Body Slam, which can tear through your party in seconds. Now Angra has about 12,000 hit points, where the individual Shadow Dragons have around 8,000 hit points each. However, with that many hit points each, it really makes it so that taking all of them out at this level is going to be quite difficult, and you really just need to focus all of your damage on the main Angra NM. Complicating this task is Angra's constant use of Ga spells, such as Sleepga, Bindga, Dispelga, and Silencega. Angra will also commonly use Graviga, followed by a teleport to far away in the map. Now if this happens at any time under 25% health, it normally spells doom for the entire group, as Angra will often use Chain Spell once they teleport, and then spam death under 25% hit points, making it so as soon as Angra is back within range of you, she'll end up insta-casting death and you will die. Now I gave this run several attempts at level 80 and was never able to get Angra lower than 30% health, so I determined that much like Corinne, this is where we needed to stop for now at level 80 in our mission to get our relic weapon until we were more geared and more importantly a higher level to take this one on. Now up next, I'll show you an example of what one of those attempts against Angra looked like, while I'll discuss what occurred after I made the choice to move on. Now after I made that choice, I chose to shift gears and see if obtaining 2 Trust, Balamor and most importantly Seththus, would help with both the party's durability and the mage's ability to keep MP in their MP pools since they were getting drained so quickly at this point in the game. This meant continuing in our Records of Eminence storyline. This went well for all of the regular quests, of course, but once he came up to the next battle against Balamor, he continually defeated my Trust and myself without showing us any chance of success, proving I'd reached yet another roadblock. So the final straw was Abysia. This was the next event that I had planned to start right after we finished our Dynamis storyline here. And even trying to take on one of the weaker NMs in the first zone of Lethane was quite challenging, and it took me approximately 5 minutes just to take out that first easy NM. Now more challenging NMs in this zone, such as Avni, proved to be well beyond my abilities at this level. With it now clear that we were going to be able to progress in any noticeable fashion in Abysia, it was really the final straw, and it was clear that our time at level 80 has come to an end. Now starting with our next episode, I will be boosting our level to level 96 to continue use of our Octave Club, but also get us as close as possible to the level 99 cap content as we can. Join us in our next episode when we take on Limit Breaks, leveling to that level 96, and the Rhapsodies of Vanadil expansion all the way through the beginning of Chapter 3. That's going to be it for episode 22 of The Journey of CyberLogic. I hope you found that helpful. If this is your first visit to my channel and you enjoyed the content, please be sure to click the subscribe button under the video and the bell icon next to it to be notified when my future videos are released. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time. Stay safe and stay healthy out there.